For part A3, we're going to fold on the line between A2 and A3. We put our white or background right side up, and then you're going to put the line here, or the seam here, right up against the seam. And now I'm checking to see, make sure my white is going to cover. In this case, this is already including the 1/4 inch. So if I have it going to this point, which I do, I peek under there and I can see it's going to go that far. So I'm good to sew. Unfold it, just the paper. So on the paper, I'll remember to back stitch at the beginning now. And you sew in the seam here, and then I back stitch, and then sew directly on the line. And then at the end, I will back stitch also. Back stitching in this case is good because when you go to pull off the paper, you don't want your seams to come undone. All right, now I'm going to go and iron. And again, I am kind of ironing because I'm going to push that fabric and make sure it doesn't fold. That's one of the problems that I've had in the past, is that if this fabric folds over like this and you iron it like that, it's not going to work. So you need to make sure that it's actually ironed on that particular line there. All right, after we have it ironed, then we're going to trim. And again, trimming from the paper side so you can see the lines. Put your lip right here on this 1/4 inch line and trim it. And then I'll turn it and trim the other way. And if you want, you can trim off this little part. I usually just go like that. Okay, we're 3/4 done here. Going to do the other side, which is also background. Again, I check to make sure I have my right side up here. This way. And now we have kind of a funny cut here, but it doesn't really matter. And sometimes I'll make this straight just so I have a line there if I wanted to use it. Just cut that off, make it straight there. And now we're going to fold on the line between A1 and A4, because that's the one we have left. And we can put it right along the edge here. If it fits, you can put it here. But in this case, it doesn't fit. And if you think it's almost going to make it, don't, because it won't work. Trust me. I'm going to turn this around so I'm not wasting as much fabric if I go this direction. And again, it's important that you make sure that this is going to be covered underneath. Okay, it is. I'm a little bit close here, so I think I'll just move it down a smidge, because it's going to take up some of the fabric on the fold. Okay, so now I'm peeking underneath and seeing that that's going to work. So before you sew, you know it's going to cover it. And again, we're going to sew directly on the line. And I'm going to remember to back stitch here. And I just do the forward stitch so I remember to put it back into forward again. Okay, just trimming off those extra threads. And then when I go back to my iron, again, making sure that there's no extra fabric in that fold. And I use a scorch setting on my iron. It needs to be hot. Otherwise, it won't work. And by the way, don't use spray starch on your paper. It might shrink it or make it all gooey. And don't use steam. Yes. Okay, so now I'm just trimming this part. And there you have 1/3 of that particular quarter here. You can see how it's going to work right like that.